of coffee. You know that we have, although I did have decaf today, and I must say, I missed the caffeine. Have you ever stopped to think where that coffee comes from?
Well, Holly Morris is in Alexandria, Virginia this morning learning everything there is to know about coffee. She's at the M.E. Swing Company, which provides coffee from many of the restaurants and specialty stores all around the D.C. area. Hey, Holly.
Hey, Allison, don't worry. I've had enough caffeine for both of us.
Great.
This morning. I probably had enough caffeine already for the entire morning crew, but I'm enjoying every drop of it because when it comes to making coffee, Swings Coffee is some of the best, and they've been doing it since 1960. And I wanted to show you this fun picture here. Take a look at this. This is their original building at 1013 East Street in downtown D.C. And if you go by there today, the building still says M.E. Swing Company on it, or Mesco building rather, and coffee roasters. And that was the line for people waiting for their cup of joe back in 1942. So that's a testament right there of how good the stuff is and how long they've been doing it. We're still in the testing lab here this morning, and now we're about to learn how to brew that perfect cup of coffee. Mark Warman's still with me, the president and owner, and Dan Sid, the brewmaster, is back. Because, you know, there really are a lot of ways to mess up coffee. You got to have good beans, then you got to roast it right, and then you have to brew it right.
Well, we do the Q&A with the coffee cupping. Now we want to explore really how you brew the coffee. A good way to do this, we like a lot, is what's called a manual pour-over method of coffee brewing.
So Dan, explain what this is and why this is such a good method.
Well, what I'm doing right here is, first of all, you want to grind your beans fresh. That's key. And then I just pour a little bit of water over it first.
So if you're listening at home real quickly, I just want to make sure you caught that. Buy a grinder, right?
Yes.
Don't buy your coffee ground. It's better if you buy the bean and then grind it yourself right before you make it.
A good quality burr grinder is going to be the best investment you can make for quality coffee at home. And then, as you can see with fresh coffee, it's puffing up and releasing gases there. That's what we call the bloom. And so you just let that hang out for a little bit, and then you start your brewing pour, and it just pour over. It's very simple.
How do you know what the right ratio is when you're making coffee at home, you know, grounds to water?
We use pretty standard metrics here, but every coffee is going to behave a little bit differently. So we follow and abide by certain recipes depending on the type of coffee, depending on the roast level, whether it's a dark roast coffee, a medium roast coffee, a very light roast coffee, and then we adjust the amount of ground coffee per amount of water that we're pouring through to make it taste the way it should.
And I'm guessing that true coffee drinkers really just don't put anything in it. They just drink it black.
We don't put anything in our coffee because we're drinking coffee all day long, and what we want to do is we want to evaluate the coffee on the merits of how the coffee tastes and not how it tastes with sugar added to it or cream or other sweeteners.
But if you're like me, then you might love a latte or two. I love a latte a lot. Latte, and that's where James Keener comes in because he's a barista at your coffee house at 17th and G, right?
Right. James is one of our many talented baristas at 17th and G.
Pressure's on, James. All right. So you're going to tell me how you're doing this and what you're doing, and how did you perfect this?
A lot of practice.
Really?
Yes. Making lots and lots and lots of drinks a day. But first we're just going to pull our espresso shot.
Okay.
Which I ground the coffee in here, and then you push down, tamp it to make it solid.
You need to tamp it. That's key, right?
And that makes it really solid and hard, so the pressure from the machine pushes the water through.
Okay, as you're doing that, if people haven't been to the coffee house, I hear you do quite a business there.
It's not quite like 1942 in the lines there, but we still get big lines at our shop downtown, mainly because we do really nice work. All of our baristas are well-trained and well-schooled on how to pull a proper shot of espresso, how to steam the milk the right way so that when you're steaming the milk, you're really infusing the milk with some natural sweetness that's already in the milk and steaming it the right way so it's not over steamed and cooked.
And you were telling me you had some statistic on how many shots you pour in a day or pull.
Yeah, we easily do between 1,000 to 1,500 shots of espresso a day.
Really?
On the course of a 10-hour workday, that's a lot of shots of espresso.
Where are we at here, James?
I'm ready.
You're ready?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so explain this.
So the shot, this is the shot of espresso here. Your
hands are shaking, James. Have you had too much coffee? No, I'm kidding.
Okay, and here's our milk. See how silky it is? That's going to make the milk a little sweet. It's going to bring out the natural sweetness of the milk. And now we just pour.
Slow, steady pour?
Slow, steady.
And what's the key to doing the artwork?
Good milk.
Good milk, really?
Good milk and a lot of practice.
Yeah, look at that. That is so awesome. I hear the Clinton administration was a big fan of swings.
We had a lot of coffee in the White House prior to 9/11, and things have changed since for security reasons. But yeah, we've been there. We'd love to get back. If the opportunity ever presented itself, we'd be more than willing.
You'd be more than willing. Well, you know what? If it was good for the White House back then, it's good enough for me. Thank you all very much for sharing your time, your talent, and your coffee beans with me, because clearly I need another cup of coffee this morning. MyFoxTZ.com is our website. We have a link to the Swing Company's website if you want to find out more about when you can come here. You can do the public coffees. You can get their coffee in Whole Foods. You can go to the coffee house. All different ways for you to get your caffeine fix too. Back to you in the studio.
This is one of those days we wish we had smell-o-vision. All right. Thank you, Holly.
Thanks, Al.